afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the CJJC 27 Post Show. This post show is brought to you today by X Vapes. I'm Jordan Kurtz, sitting here alongside Kat Paprocki. We're coming to you from the Colorado Tattoo Convention and Expo. Kat, we had a tremendous show yesterday.
Man, it was good. It was packed. It was loud. It was exciting.
We had so many things going on throughout this entire weekend for the Tattoo Convention and Expo. There's been contests that have been happening, barber competition, car show, talent shows. There's Lucha Libre going on the Sunday. There's been lots of local influencers within the community. Shout out to the Denver Foos who are out here and they cut a little promo with us on Friday. You guys are the best. They try to do everything to put on for all the local businesses. And there's been a lot of those folks that have been circulating throughout the National Western throughout the weekend. And one thing that I love about having shows here is we get to expand the pipeline of our audience to so many people that wouldn't have otherwise probably came to a grappling show. And just because they were here for, maybe one of the other small events within the show, maybe they were here for the tattoo portion, maybe they were here for the cars.
Yeah.
Something that was a part of this overall expo then allowed them to come over and walk and check out the show that we had going on.
Yeah.
And there were so many that came up and were like, wow, this is awesome.
If you were here Saturday between 5 and 8, you made your way through the convention to our cage, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, lots of faces in the crowd from all over the state. We had people who traveled from the far ends of Colorado. On the north side, we had people coming from way down south to be able to make it here as a part of the competition and to support theirs who were on the show. So we're greatly appreciative of everybody who also came directly to support us. Obviously, we're grateful of everybody else on the trickle side.
Absolutely.
The trickle through that came as a part of the event, but we're also very appreciative and just pouring out gratitude to our faithful base who are at every show, whether it's Grapple Games, whether it is a pro show, whether it's here at the expo. Thank all of you for your continued support too as well.
Absolutely. And I do want to address that we had some internet issues here and we taped everything. So we are going to show you guys this incredible show. If you weren't able to watch it on YouTube after the show, we do have an announcement when we will be playing that as well. So
definitely. I mean, and unfortunately, sometimes in the live event industry, tech issues happen.
Absolutely.
With the venue, the box with the Ethernet cable that ran for this entire half of the arena was inoperable. So it wasn't just us with CJJC who didn't have their live streams. Our show, the fashion show, there were multiple other events within this expo that were impacted by that. So unfortunately, we were just a part of that technical difficulty. But again, in the live industry, we have a crowd full of people that are here waiting for people to grapple. We've got athletes ready to go. Show must go on.
Absolutely.
So as Kat said, we've got everything in the can that's going to be put up on the CJJC YouTube page.
Yes.
We're going to have a full announcement as far as timeline, the premiere. So you'll be able to check out all of those matches. And for those of you who competed or those of you who want to share, we are greatly appreciative of all of those shares and the exposure for the reach that we can get there. But we've got a list of some crazy events or results from the event to go through. Kat, you ready?
That was a good show. Yes. Let's do it.
In the main event, we had a thriller, to say the least. We had a match that went all the way into double overtime. We had Josh Frem, the Big Yins UFC vet, now signed to Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. He took on Jacob Bark of Leverage Jiu-Jitsu, and that was a matchup, again, that from start to finish, those guys were at each other.
Oh,
Josh was trying to attack. Josh had a little slam in the process. Jacob was trying to work on legs. In the end, ultimately, Josh was able to secure that triangle victory in double overtime.
Yeah. I had Josh winning the first round, and I actually had Jacob taking the second. He was throwing up attacks. He had grabbed his legs. And Josh is so playful. He's such an entertainer. It was just a great match. Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. The Big Ins definitely has a flair for entertaining the crowd in the process.
Cartwheeling and pretending to punch.
Talking to the crowd in the process.
He also grabbed you and twirled you around.
Yeah. Josh, let's talk about that for a second.
Put me down.
Sweaty ogre. Thankfully, I was wearing black.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because otherwise, I would have had a whole slime stain across the entire side of my body where his big ass picked me up and walked me around the cage.
Yeah.
So, love you, big dog. But
Yes.
if you could please hold off from grabbing me while you're full of sweat again, that would be greatly appreciated.
Awesome. Awesome.
The
Yeah.
next matchup, though, also, moving from that one, we had a matchup with a guy who I talked about on the pre-show, someone who I've had the pleasure of calling a lot of contests for, whether it's now grappling to fighting to whatever in the mix for
Yeah.
years now. And, this was a matchup between Caleb Crump, the Peaceful Warrior, who is a world-renowned grappler at this stage, competed for ADCC to everything else out there that you can imagine. And he took on a very tough opponent in Brock McKenna out of 10th Planet. And Brock gave Caleb everything that he could offer all the way until Caleb was ultimately able to find his finish.
Yeah. Yeah. Brock, we weren't quite sure how he was gonna come out, and he was great. He was a dog. This is all hearsay, so this is through the grapevine, but I have heard that Caleb Crump, a bunch of his teammates got together and put together a bet, and he could only sub in regulation with a specific sub. And so it's hearsay, but he had his own task within a task.
Interesting.
Interesting. I don't know.
Interesting.
I-
Interesting.
I want to know.
That's the first that knowledge has been brought to my
Yeah.
my awareness. But hey, if it was the case, then obviously that didn't happen if it was in regulation. But
Yeah.
Caleb ultimately able to secure the submission in overtime.
Absolutely.
But one thing that I will say, as far as the match itself goes, how often do you see dueling buggies?
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it was a fun little sequence to see between the two of them, both very high level guys,
Yeah.
and very excited to see what's to come for each of them.
Absolutely.
Following from that, we had another guy who he's been on a variety of our shows in multiple different formats, whether it be gi or no gi in the recent history. He was also one of multiple guys from New Era Jiu Jitsu who competed yesterday. Shout out to Professor Massier too, by the way. I mean,
A class act all the time.
side note, on a personal side of things, there's been some things that have happened with me over the last few weeks, and he is taking the time and the initiative to reach out and just make sure that I'm doing all right. And
Awesome.
so thank you, Professor. You're a real one for everything that you've done and for actually caring. So thank you. But let's go back to the matchup. I digress here. Giovanni Valles of New Era Jiu Jitsu, man, that guy is a competitor through and through. And every single time that he comes out here and steps into our cage, that man, you could tell that he has a game plan.
Yeah.
And that he is always trying to work toward that goal and within the confines of staying disciplined to that game plan.
Execution. Absolutely.
And
He
I
has
think
that.
his discipline in there's been some scrambles, or there's been some times where guys try to create a little bit of a not necessarily the actual position itself for confusion's sake in jujitsu terms. I know how some of you guys get crazy with the words and terminology, but
Sure.
guys try to create a dogfight.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
he's so technical that they can't necessarily always out technique him. So
Yes.
they've got to try to make it, to use our fight terminology, they've got to make it dirty. They've got to make it grimy. They've got to put it into a phone booth. They got to make it a dogfight, whatever you want to say, whatever cliche that you want to give.
Yeah.
But even when guys try to do that with him, he is so disciplined
He
to
handles
his
it.
game plan
Yeah.
that he's able to withstand that storm.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the most impressive things about him.
Absolutely. He's always a pleasure too. He's an awesome guy. And again, his performance in the cage has always spoken for him. I do want to give a shout out to Travis though, man. He is a dog. I would love to have him on again. Yeah, awesome.
Definitely. And in the next matchup, we had some big boys getting after it. Anytime that you have the heavyweights going crazy, slamming into all sides of the cage and everything in the process, it's provocative.
We're like, what?
Crowd going,
Yeah,
the crowd
absolutely.
starts seeing the cage shake a little bit.
Yeah, it's
and then
exciting.
it's like, "Ooh, wow, look how crazy. It's crazy."
Absolutely.
But this was a heavyweight matchup between Jeff Auer and Ryan Ciccanelli.
Yeah.
And both of these guys have competed They both got experience under their belt.
Sure.
Jeff has done multiple different rule sets with us too.
Yes, he has.
Whether it's being our pro shows to grapple games. So
Yeah.
I'm always appreciative of someone like him. He said he took the matchup on only a couple of days of notice and was willing to go in there, be a gamer, and get after it. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm super proud of Jeff. He's 0-2 on our show, and he just pulled off his first pin. Man, he executed really well. He was patient. I'm proud of him.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then moving along into the next match, we get into our bracket.
Yeah.
And there was some fireworks to a little bit or two.
Colin Riles, we see you, buddy.
Yes, we
We
know
see
your
you,
name,
buddy.
We know your name.
I
A
promise.
savage. A savage.
Absolutely.
Plain and simple. And
Yeah.
you know what? I will be the first one. I'll own it. I didn't know much about Colin at all coming into yesterday.
Yeah, a few things. All right. I love the underdog story.
Absolutely.
I love that concept of like to us, you're new, but Colin knows who he is.
Right.
And he knew he's like, I'm no underdog. Yeah, man, I'm impressed.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know what Nico brings to the table.
Sure, absolutely.
And especially when it comes to the leg lock game and how proficient and
Yeah.
not just proficient, but how superb Nico Radic is in the leg lock
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Then to know that, Colin Lyles was able to go out there and just run shop.
Yes.
He ran through the bracket. He picked up both victories. He had a head full of steam in the process.
Yeah.
He called everybody out in doing so, which, hey, I'm glad. I'm glad because sometimes there's stuff that, even from the broadcast or the media, I try to be as clued in and as tuned in as
Sure.
much as I possibly can. But I can only be in so many places at once. And sometimes when there's somebody's like, hey, like, you better remember who I am now.
Got it.
Noted.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I
Yes.
respect having that little bit of fire and
Yeah.
that willing to hold your ground and dig your heels in and say, no, like,
Yeah. I'm here.
acknowledge me.
Well, and every athlete has to have that breakout performance. And I am excited that it was here in our page. Colin, I Googled you. Originally couldn't find much. I Googled you today and you immediately popped up on our CJJC page. So you are in there now forever.
There you have it there. And then moving from that, we had a matchup between a couple of guys, who are battle tested MMA fighters. They're also very experienced grapplers in the process. You had Vincent Bryan taking on Chance Miller. This was a victory by decision for Vincent Bryan. Vince is a former D1 wrestler who is just new and fresh out to Colorado within the last couple of months.
Yeah.
He's a young kid with a very bright future.
Yeah, I
There's
agree.
a lot of guys like there's
Completely.
just you can't, no matter what, and grappling, when you bring in submissions and jujitsu and all that, but when we talk about how a big part of our mission or our concept with CJJC is this is also kind of a hybrid for those fighters to help shore up that part of their skill set
Yes.
because we do allow for a full submission set. It's not restricted by belts like the other federations or some of that. We
Absolutely.
do allow for slams to happen. We do work off of the cage. So there's a lot of things that hybridize grappling with MMA.
Yes.
In environments like this, it's tough in general when you have somebody who has the wrestling experience like a Vince Bryan does.
Sure.
You just, no matter how much grappling that you do, and you could be as devout. I mean, you're training 6 days a week, whatever right now, you can't overcome 20 years worth of wrestling.
Absolutely.
And Vince is, he's in his early 20s, so it might be, call it 18-ish years
Sure.
just by semantics of it. But
Yes.
adding
He's
the,
102.
adding the going through a full cycle of being a D1 wrestler and whatnot, there's a certain base or there's certain instincts to your skill set and things that you will do that your body will do without you even thinking of it, that somebody who got started later in life they'll never be able to shore that gap. There's one George St. Pierre out there who was able to shore that gap.
Yep.
I don't know that we've ever seen anybody else aside from him be able to negate the gap that all those high level D1 or even higher level wrestlers have.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But also at the same time, Chance Miller is a gamer.
Always game.
Chance is a very tough kid who he's got a fight coming up in a couple of weeks. So, I know that this is probably going to give him some inspiration to go out there and make a statement on October 10th. So I'm interested to see what's coming forward too for Chance. Like I say, he's an active guy in the martial arts community here across multiple disciplines, multiple skill sets. So we love these guys who want to go out there and just be active. Like, hey, I don't care what it is. I want to be active. I want to compete. I want to feel that feeling when I hit the curtain. I want to feel the smells. I want to feel everything that comes with competing.
Yeah.
And gain the experience. And so salute to both of these guys for being willing to take a chance and do it.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Then the next matchup was it was what I felt like was a great redemption story, if you will.
Okay.
Cameron Santos from Catalyst Jiu-Jitsu. On our last show, things definitely, as he said, it wasn't a good showing for him at his last one. Not to say that he didn't compete hard, but he did get tech subbed by Seth Tumbleson at a previous show. But
he was a dog too.
Absolutely. But came back in this matchup and had a huge performance. I mean, it was a stellar show that he put on in front of his Catalyst crowd. Professor Paul Hamas was busy yesterday.
Yeah,
there was a lot of great things and improvements that I felt like were very observable from Cameron Santos in that performance. And he goes out there and he gets this win by finish.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm happy for Cameron that he was able to go out there. And, I just feel like for anyone as a competitor, it's good to get that get back.
Absolutely.
And it's not to slight his opponent by any means, because Aaron is a tough kid as well.
He also took it on, I think, like 7 days notice, 8 days. Yeah, absolutely.
Short notice and everything in the process. But at the same time, though, a gamer.
Yeah.
But like I say, sometimes storylines are a big deal in this game, or timing, the feel good, the redemption, and then that gives somebody like a Cameron Santos I'm not as bad as the last one.
Yes.
It's something that I've had coaches tell me my entire life, no matter what the sport, but you're never as good as your wins, you're never as bad as your losses.
Absolutely.
But sometimes as a competitor, it's hard to not get lost on either side of it, especially when, oh man, I just worked so hard and this didn't go my way.
No.
You question sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But for him to have a good circle the way that he does with a great team, the way that Catalyst crew is, I think that's a great influencing factor for him to be able to go back and get a big win yesterday.
And Cameron Santos always comes with a crowd, man. He always has his people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Always. It's cool.
I mean, he might have had one of the louder pops of the entire show.
Yes.
Yeah, the entire Catalyst crowd was in one section, but there was like a full portion of the crowd that was just Cameron people. Too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that was really cool to see in that. Then we also had another Catalyst guy in the next matchup. We had Joshua Rangel, who his matchup with Brett Buxton was from start to finish 3 yards in a cloud of dust, basically.
Yeah. Scramble after scramble.
Scrambled like eggs in the process. The matchup between Brett Buxton again and Josh Rangel, that was a fun one to see. They went all the way through regulation as well as both periods of overtime. Very tough matchup. Both guys were gamers. They both tried their attacks. They scrambled all over the place, like Kat said, position to position, and it went all the way to the final bell. And ultimately, Josh was able to get his hand raised.
Yeah.
Josh also had a tremendous message to be able to share with the crowd.
Yes.
A veteran who, also again, Josh, thank you for your service, but shared a message about vets and, thanking vets and recognizing the mental health aspect of it. So again, with this being September and Suicide Awareness Month, all those things combined, beautiful message from Josh Rangel on that one.
Absolutely.
The next matchup from there, we had Jeremiah Sperling taking on Anthony Bendy. Now, if you just took the silhouette of the two of these guys,
long-legged, long-armed.
Yes, 2 light poles,
Spider daddies or whatever.
Very.
Anthony likes to be called.
We'll let him run with that. I will not call him that nickname, but I will let him go ahead and go with that. Anthony Bendy, his last name suggests exactly how his joints are.
Yeah.
Joints in his bones. That dude, I swear, has rubber bones, and he's like triple jointed. I've seen him put in submissions that most people, everything is popping and exploding, and you're on the shelf for a year with surgical repair.
Jeremiah caught him early too.
Yes.
And man, he was calm. He was patient. He's on a roll too. He is going against some good guys, and he is handling them. And yeah,
Yeah, definitely. And Anthony Bendy gets another win by submission here.
Yeah.
It's he's a fun guy to watch because he's goofy.
oh, he's a sweetheart
Like
too.
like he's got a goofball personality that then
yes.
when he goes out there and competes, it just kind of in its own way, like his personality translates. Like that's the art of the martial artist, right? Like
Yes,
his
yes,
kind of
yes.
goofball personality just fits with his real bendy, creative, like multi-jointed. Well, I'm gonna weave this leg all the way over here in a
Yes.
crazy angle that most people, A, they don't have a leg that's long enough to be able to cover that space.
Yeah,
But two,
yeah.
they don't have the joint mobility to be able to effectively hold that lever the way that he does, and he's fun to watch.
He's also one of the only wrestlers I know that will pull guard. And I'm like, all right, go get him, Bendy.
Sometimes they have a staff that offers all of their own.
Oh, I love Bendy. Yeah.
The next matchup was one of the opening rounds of our bracket. This was Colin Lyles taking on Nathan Sines.
Again, man, Colin just handled everybody. Handled them.
He did.
Awesome job,
absolutely.
Colin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we already spoke ad nauseum about him on that way, but again, you know your name now, brother. You
Yeah.
showed up and showed out.
I want to see Colin Lyles versus Benny. That's what I want.
After that call out, that we
Hey,
had
Steven.
afterwards,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I want
only
Yeah.
poking the side of the matchmaker over here. Let's make that super fight.
Yeah. So give him what he wants.
Okay, the people.
$300 and call your shot. Catch bracket, baby. Oh yeah.
The next matchup was
Our team match. Gosh.
these teenagers. I swear to you, they're so talented, and the talent is growing by the day. The evolutions of their game from the last time that we saw Jesse Fabiano.
Yes.
Jesse is so talented. Jesse took on Corey Labato of Otami Martial Arts. Jesse Fabiano, another product of Professor Matt Sierra at
Yeah.
New Era Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah.
These guys got after it. I mean, from start to finish.
They got after it. And on our pre-show, we were really excited to see what Jesse and Vinicio were going to have. And Corey stepped in on 48 hours, and he brought us the same level of incredible that we were hoping from the other match. I want him back. I want him to have time. We were even talking this morning. Michael Ortiz called Jesse out again, and I was like, maybe we should do a bracket, a teen young men bracket. Just send them in there.
We had a few of these winners trying to plead their case and call for their shots.
I
But
like
we
it.
had Jesse saying
Yeah.
like, hey, like,
Team.
how about we get a team title?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
hey, maybe we put a title on the top of a bracket with some of
Yeah,
them. And,
yeah.
put four of you in there, and whoever comes out with their hand raised, you get that team title. Maybe that's another suggestion for the boss man.
Yeah,
over
yeah,
there. Just chewing those.
We have lots of suggestions today. But man, again though, for us to even be having this talk is because they're so good and they're showing such high level grappling. It's amazing.
Well, it's so good. It's that they're so good that we're able to talk about them in that sense, but it's also that we're putting on a show, or we're delivering a product and a platform that they want to say then, okay, yes, we want that title, or we want this here. So I think it's a twofold thing in that sense. But again, we can't do what we do without them going out there and putting on the show that they have.
Yeah.
I mean, again, for both of those teenagers,
Amazing.
teenagers to have that high level acumen of skill to be able to transition from attack to attack.
Yeah.
Not just on the attack side, but also to maintain defense for all of those attacks and to be able to scramble from spot to spot. It's tremendous to be able to see. And Jesse Fabiano's on a little bit of a roll himself.
He
I
is.
mean, that kid is going to have a bright future in the sport.
He
for
is.
Sure.
And New Era posted last night Jesse Fabiano eating cake that my daughter brought, and her and Samson and Jesse and them were all in the back, like dancing, eating cake, and I love that. That's the environment. It's awesome.
All the teenagers, they're building their own crazy little community.
Of
They're
course.
coming.
Hoodlums.
Exactly. That next generation is coming for everybody who is in the saddle right now. So, yeah, Josh Friend, our main event, he always talks about how when he watches some of these younger guys and just the level of skill in the younger groups, said, yeah, like it makes me realize that I need to just go out there, get my bag, and get out.
Yeah,
Because that younger generation is just so skilled,
and
and
they know everything.
our generation, like the now who are in the late 20s, early 30s, around in there, that's what the old guard who retired in the recent years, that's what they said of this generation, and that's what we're saying of the next, and that's what it's going to continue to be.
Absolutely.
It just keeps on evolving and growing, and now that because the thing is youth programs, even say 10 years ago,
Yeah.
were seldom.
Yes.
It was something like, did they exist?
Yes.
But was it a lot more limited? Was it a lot more, I guess, harder to access for most? Whereas now there's, I mean, and I say this from the frame of reference in Denver, you go about every other block and there's a new school that's popping up.
Absolutely.
So like I say, just the point of access is a little bit easier now than it was back then, and it's just more popular as a whole. So the amount of people that are getting into it from a young age.
Yes. Put your kids in jujitsu, man. It helps confidence. It shows them how to protect themselves. Yeah.
So, and we spoke to the advantage that some of the wrestlers have that started, when they were at 3, 4,
Yeah.
5 years old, and have
Absolutely.
worked all the way, and now, some of them post collegiate wrestling careers and whatnot. Well, now we're starting to have kids stateside. That's what you would get from the foreign
Yeah.
people, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what you would get from the Brazilians or so on and so forth, who they started grappling when they were knee high to a grasshopper. So
Yeah.
that's where you get your Mackenzie Derns and so on and so forth, who are multiple time world champions
Absolutely.
as teenagers.
Yes. And yeah.
Being mosquitoes, all those sorts.
Yes.
That's how you get those, is because they started at such a young age. But
Yeah.
now that it's a little bit more prevalent stateside, well, now you're getting some of those kids who started at a really young age and who are now rising the ranks. It's a very rare that, and we had one who now she's out on the East Coast, but someone like Jaden Mueller who started at a really young age.
Yes.
But there's not a lot from that generation now here, but
It's
those
gonna
kids
be.
are rising.
Absolutely.
That is that crop of kids that are 13, 14 right now. If they started young, and then they're now just on the bubble of trying to crack into the scene. And some of them are already a problem.
Yes.
You see them grapple, you see some of the things that they technically know how to do.
Yeah.
They're not big and strong enough yet to be a real threat necessarily on like an absolute sort of competition stage.
Yes.
But you give them a couple of years to grow into their bodies. You
Yeah.
give them a couple of years of physical maturation and strength and conditioning. Oh no, that is a very serious issue for anybody that they step into competition with.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree.
Definitely. So a long-winded rant to say a big shout out to some of our teenagers who a lot of these next couple of matches we're talking about young kids who competed on the card. So
Yeah.
this is just kind of an overarching sentiment to their generation and how good that they are all becoming.
Absolutely.
The next matchup from that, we had a couple of guys who they trained together, and they talked about it in the post fight. There was a lot of love shown between them. That was Samson Yang taking on Nathan Martinez. Samson Yang wins by triangle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that she got a little bit to add to this, just by that giggle alone.
I'm just so proud of them both. They went out afterwards and ate cake together, and they ordered like a pepperoni something, and they made each other better. I'm excited for Samson. He's been training so hard. He's been doing privates. He's been doing all of the extras, and seeing that pay off for him was incredible. Nathan didn't have a home originally when we first got him this match. He then found his home with us over there at PCO, and in a very short time, that kid is a sponge. He soaked in everything that anybody told him, and I'm excited for them both in the future.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Next matchup from that, we had Caden Ashby of Catalyst Jiu Jitsu taking on Michael Moreno out of High Altitude Martial Arts. And that Catalyst crew was busy. You know, Professor Paulanis had a full day of work with his crew out here.
Yeah, he did.
But another very quality performance by one of his pupils. Caden
Absolutely.
Ashby came out right away, was the aggressor, and ultimately secures a triangle choke.
Yeah,
I mean,
awesome.
it was a fun match for as long as it lasted.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was great.
And then moving from there, we had Langdon King taking on Japhet Garcia of Black Tie Jiu Jitsu.
So I was walking Layla back to her match, and the sub must have happened quick because I came walking back, and I was like, "Oh, it's over." Some quick work there.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it was a quick. They both came out there and they met right away in the center, and you
I
know,
love it.
quick scramble ensues.
Yeah.
Submission gets locked in by Japhet. You know, that was our one black tie jiu-jitsu guy on the card this time. You know, the one thing that I always love about their crew is usually in our pro shows, or a lot of times they have the perfect rash guard.
Yes. Yes.
People all around in the jiu-jitsu community always talk about like
Yeah.
their tuxedo t-shirt rash guard.
They are black tie. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And then our curtain jerker for the show, we had a matchup between a couple of young ladies who, hey, this was a hard fought battle between the two of them. They bloodied each other up. They were definitely getting after it through the whole mix of it. I mean, obviously, you know, when you're young and when you know your opponent, sometimes it can be a motion filled type of a performance. And you know,
Absolutely.
for both of these young ladies, they went out there and they gave it everything that they absolutely had. That was Layla Paparaki, who took on Ladylike Charlize Balser.
Yeah. Yeah. Layla has that aggressive, I mean, being from an MMA gym, having parents that both did MMA, she had that hand cover. I think it was just a lot for Charlie. Charlie held her off though. She did fantastic. I do want to note though that Charlie is a lot smaller. Charlie did not cut for that, and Ayla did. So I would love to see Charlie back on with somebody a little more her size. Really proud of my daughter Layla. Man, cornering her made me really, really nervous. But she did great. She aggressive, and she loves back. Back is like her specialty. So I know for her it was sweet that in overtime she got the rear choke. So
Definitely. And Layla cracks me up. She
a pain in the butt.
funny. That was cool because it was a total different demeanor to see from her, like actually competing, because she's such a goofball.
She's a goof.
Like just talk, and even the post match interviews, like, yeah, whatever, I'll do another one.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
The next one, I'll do.
Yeah, yeah.
Just her energy is just so different from her actual like competition demeanor,
Yeah.
like, being like so intense and locked in.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, I don't know, I feel like she's like so just playful, and
Totally playful.
I don't know that aloof is necessarily the right
Yeah,
word, but
yeah,
just like
yeah.
just kind of like so much that's just a playful teenage girl mindset in a lot of ways. But then she
Absolutely.
went and she locked in and was like there's a whole different side of you that I had never seen before that came out yesterday. And
Yes.
then even, you know, she's getting up and her nose is all bloodied up and it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Fine, I'm cool.
Yeah, man. She's
It was just like, roll. It's fine. It's fine.
she is a competitor for sure. And I love like right after her and Charlie hugged and they were cool, and it's a sport, and
Oh, yeah.
it's all with love.
I gotta give Charlie a shout out because she had my favorite walkout song of the whole show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Party. Yeah. Party monster.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
I just had to throw that one out there.
Yeah.
You know, favorite walkout song of the day. Shout out to you, Charlie, for kicking off the show. And I was like, okay, this is what we're starting.
Let's go.
Party monster. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, though, this was just recapping everything at a 30,000-foot view. Tremendous show. Thank you to all of the competitors who
Yes.
came out here and did what you did.
Yes.
Without you coming out here and following the protocol, doing what you did, showing up to weigh-ins at the time, and making weight in the process, all of those things are a part of this being a professional event.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something that is more than just going and meeting at an open mat and rolling.
Yeah.
There's something that is to be said about having an actual time, date, match, all of that. Because in many cases, there's so many of these guys who they've rolled together, they've trained together at some point in time,
Absolutely.
but the stakes are higher when it's saying that, okay, this date, this time,
Yeah.
we're going to meet inside of a cage with locked doors, and
Yeah.
one of us is going to come out the victor.
I know that Josh Fremd got a tattoo here. I want to know how many other competitors got them. So if you got them, take a picture, tag us at the CJJC cage.
Yeah, Josh said that if he got the win by sub, he was going to get a tattoo, and so
Sick.
he held through on his word there.
Awesome.
And he got a little Gundam piece, so
Yeah.
it's a popular thing. You know, a lot of our martial arts community loves all of the the Toonami wave of shows that were around back in the day. So
Okay.
yeah, I see, when you're in a fight gym all the time, all these guys have all their tattoos all over the place.
Sure.
I've got a coach that has Gundam. I know many guys who have Dragon Ball Z themed things.
Yeah.
Josh, who just got a Gundam. My regular tattoo artist, one of the stuff that he does regularly is so he's a specialist in American traditional as well as like Neo-Japanese style stuff. So but does a lot of like Gundam, Dragon Ball Z, like all of those things. So yeah. And then obviously our DJ who always holds it down and does such a tremendous job, Georgie the Buzzsaw Martinez. George had a Dragon Ball Z themed car at one point.
That just makes sense.
So
George.
and yeah, I mean, I don't know if he still has it, but he had an orange Dodge that was like Dragon Ball Z orange with in the process. So
That just makes sense.
it's a popular nerds genre of entertainment. Yeah, and he had like the action figures and the toys and like the little figurines on it. Yeah, it was yeah.
Oh man.
Don't want yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
So
man.
like I said,
That's
it's
funny.
a fun show, a fun atmosphere.
Are you gonna get anything?
Probably. And
You and I were just talking like how long you've been getting
yeah,
tattoos.
I've been getting tattooed for more than 20 years now at this stage. I just got one like 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
a big memorial tribute piece for my dog that passed away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm never opposed to getting them,
Yeah.
but there's also some things that like if
Yeah.
it's the right thing, then
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. But
Yes.
it's got to speak to me in a way, I guess, if
Absolutely.
you will.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, there's certain things that I guess I'm faithful to. I'm faithful to my tattoo artist and to my barber.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. Stephen and my's 11-year anniversary was actually on Friday. And we decided we are going to get our anniversary date in Roman numerals
Okay.
tattooed on our wedding ring finger.
Romantic.
We're so cute.
Steve's sitting over there
I
laughing. with
hope
the
it
cloud
doesn't hurt.
around. Well, folks, we thank you all so much for your support of the CJJC cage.
Awesome.
Yeah, is there anything else that you want to add?
I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank our staff, man. CJJC does not work without our staff, and every single one of you count. And thank you for just continuing to help us put on this fantastic show. So
Absolutely.
thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you all to all of our staff and all of our stagehands,
Yes,
our
everybody.
crew, our camera grips, our assistants in the process. Shout out to Clive for doing our post match interviews in the backstage area.
Absolutely.
That's a young man who's got a big future in the media game, who's trying to grow himself there. So
Yeah.
thank you, Clive, for showing up and doing what you do there. And also want to give a shout out to both you, Kat, as well as Steven. You guys with your hustle and your effort has helped grow our company to levels that we weren't even thinking of just a few months ago.
Yeah.
And then just watching throughout the weekend, seeing Steven running around with the headset on and, calling out,
He has a
calling out
scooter.
shots or, saying,
like,
"Oh,
riding
the
around."
camera this to that. Like, these are all things that I had brought to the table in terms of our at the beginning of the year, our planning or what are things that we need to start doing or incorporate to grow and to take ourselves to the next level. And I just take it from the vantage point of I've been blessed to go work with some of these big shows and big promotions out there, and it's the martial arts element or angle of it of what good would my experience going and learning and getting all of this, all of these connections or this technical advancement within the game, if I didn't bring that back to the table for us to try to implement and use to grow ourselves.
Sure.
That's the same thing if you were to go to Thailand, go to Brazil, go wherever and expand your skill set as a martial artist and train. Well, you come back and you bring that knowledge to your peers, right? And you help them grow their game.
Yeah.
These were suggestions, and I mean suggestions are just that if there's no action behind them.
Yeah.
The initiative that was taken through those suggestions is just something that to me I love to see, and it means a lot to me because it helps make my end of the business so much better, or it makes it so much more effective and efficient in driving what our end goal is.
Well, we love you, buddy.
But then also, seeing Steven running around over here with his scooter and then having the headset and calling out shots. We're going from this
His
camera to that
headset
camera,
isn't
flipping
even
things out.
attached to anything. He's just
Oh, he's just
yelling out commands.
you're just going crazy
Actually.
over there. But,
Yeah. Yeah, he's actually not talking to
I
anybody.
told them when we were doing it's like, God damn, bro, you're over here looking like a real fucking producer. So,
He's a star.
I'm grateful of it. I'm grateful. So
Absolutely.
thank you guys for all the work and the effort that you guys have put in because we wouldn't be doing this like we're doing this right now
Yeah.
if you guys did not put the rubber to the road.
Well, we love this. Combat sports helped us grow and it helped us to become who Steven and I are. So to be able to pass that on to a community that we feel has offered us so much is just, it's the best. So thank you guys.
That wraps it up for us here, though, at the CJJC 27 post show brought to you by X Vapes. We came to you live today from the Colorado Tattoo Convention and Expo. We're going to be getting back into the fold with our next show here in the next couple of months. Please subscribe to YouTube as well as hit that follow on Instagram at the CJJC Cage, and we'll give you all the updates for everything going forward. Thank you all so much for joining us here along. I'm Jordan Kurtz, joined here alongside Cat Pap Rocky. We've got Steven on the boards over there. Thank you all so much for joining in.
Are you in the club? In the club?